Guys, welcome back. So today is bread making day. I have my loaf bread on the stove rising, so now we're going to make some homemade cornbread. First off, you're going to start off with a 9.5-inch skillet. I use my cast iron skillet because it's just what I like to cook in. We're going to put some vegetable oil in our skillet. Sorry, brand new vegetable oil. Whoop. Just a dollop will do. I'm going to kind of spin it around here. We want to make sure to get the oil all over the pan so that our cornbread does not stick. Just like that. And I got a little too much oil, so give me just a second. Let me run over here and dump this out. Alright, so if you see, I have it lightly oiled. Not very little pulling going on. So I'm going to take it over here to my stove. I got Goober helping me this morning. And I'm going to turn my oven on 350 and mash start. And we're going to go ahead and put the skillet in here and let it warm up with the stove. It really helps with the cornbread. So now we're going to come back over here and we're going to start mixing. Got my handy dandy mixing bowl. I'm going to start with half a cup of self-rising flour. Doesn't matter on name brand. Then I want to get 1.5 cups of yellow cornmeal. And I am using a 1/2 cup scoop here. On our oil, we're going to add some oil to our cornbread. You want it to look about like you just dolloped an egg in there. There we go. About 3 tablespoons or so. Like any good chef, this is Papa's recipe. And Papa does not do measurements, so bear with me on the oil. Sorry, he doesn't do measurements. Then I'm going to use 2 farm fresh eggs. You can use store-bought. I just had some farm fresh. Got my 2 eggs in there. And then I've got a cup of milk. You can use whatever kind of milk you want. This is just regular whole milk. You could also use buttermilk if you wanted to make more of a buttermilk cornbread. And then we're just going to mix this all up together. And you want it to be about the same consistency as a pancake batter. Look at that good mix in there. Look how good that looks. If it's a little too thick, you can add more milk. If it's too thin and runny, you can add more cornmeal or more flour, whichever you prefer, or you can do an equal mixture of both. Just depends on the weather and how the weather is that day. Just like with making any type of bread, you're at the mercy of humidity. And around here we have lots of it, don't we, Goober? Mm-hmm. Goober's holding the camera for me today so that I can do this. That's looking pretty good. See how thick that is? It's going to make a nice, good cornbread. We might have to add us a little more milk here in just a few moments. So now it's just time to wait for our oven to warm up. Alright, our cornbread is still pretty thick. It thickens up as it sits here, so we're going to add us a little more milk to ours. Not too much. We don't want to make it soupy. There we go. And you see how it just thins out rather nicely there? And it plops off there just like pancake batter. So now that we got that nice and good and ready, we're going to come over here to the oven and we're going to get our skillet out. It's nice and hot now. So is my oven. I'm going to set it on my hot pad there. And we're just going to pour right into it. Look how beautiful that is. This cornbread, we make it for our dressings. We make it just to eat. You'll see that at the end of the video, how we normally eat our cornbread throughout the year. But we also use this exact same recipe for our cornbread dressing for Thanksgiving and Christmas and whenever else we decide we want it. So we're just going to put that in here. Just like so. And I'm going to set my timer for 25 minutes. And we'll let it cook and we'll be back with y'all in a minute.
Alright.
Alright, our cornbread is done. Look at that. That is beautiful. Whew. Alright, now we got to add our butter to our cornbread. This gives the cornbread a nice good flavor and taste, and it also helps to get the cornbread out of the pan, which we're going to do just like we did on the bread, and we're going to leave it sitting in the pan until it cools completely, and then we will get it out. But we just want to make sure every bit of it is nice and good and buttered. We love our butter around here. Don't we, Goober?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can talk a little bit.
Yeah, butter is good. Cornbread holds peace in the house.
It does hold the peace in the house. So now we got it nice and good and buttered up. Now we're just going to let it sit here and cool off. Alright, so our cornbread is completely cooled. I can pick it up now, touch it with my hands. We took a knife and went around the edge of the cornbread to make sure it was loose. So then you're just going to pick it up and you're going to kind of shake it, just to make sure it's nice and good and loose. And you see it's flipping up. I'm going to take my plate, I'm going to set it on top, and just flip it over. And there's our perfect cornbread in Goober's pan to wash. So our cornbread looks nice and beautiful. We got it nice and finished. We also got us a loaf of bread, and I decided to bake some brownies while I had the oven going. Do it all one day. Lovely. We're going to be eating good and Hanson Homestead this week. Alright, so now it's supper time. Alright, Bubba, you got your peas and your cornbread. What type of meat are we going to have tonight?
Steak with ketchup and pepper on it.
Alright. So not only is our bread, but it's also goes with our vegetable and it's our meat. Alright, so Bubba's plate is fixed. He has his peas and cornbread here. And he has his steak, which is cornbread with ketchup and black pepper on it. Yum, yum. Right, Bubba?
Yes, ma'am. Not too much black pepper.